Yes, today I want to talk about a SWOT analysis in relation to COVID pandemic. I'm your entrepreneurship tutor, Professor Henry Bwisa of Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. Yes, I'm saying COVID pandemic versus BBI SWOT generated strategies. Don't mind this, sorry for the spellings of strategies, it is strategies. And as you know, SWOT analysis or SWOT stands for strengths S, weaknesses W, opportunities O, and threats T. Now, SWOT, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, is an analysis tool that can help jumpstart strategic planning in as little as a single day by helping stakeholders identify and weigh their internal strengths against their external opportunities. And these two are positive and helpful. And also, the SWOT that can help you capture the organization's internal weaknesses and external threats, which are negative and harmful. All this SWOT analysis increase the likelihood that an organization will build a plan that can achieve its goals. So this is the importance of SWOT. Now, a SWOT that does not help generate strategies is not useful. I have seen planners, strategic planners, doing a SWOT just similar to this one. This is not very useful. Just by listing the strengths and listing the weaknesses and listing the opportunities and then the threats, like this template shows, does not help much. The key objective of SWOT analysis is to help identify a strategy that can be implemented. And therefore, you see, this is a useful structure of SWOT. You can see that the top horizontal line shows the strengths, which are S, and the weaknesses, which are W. So in this space, we identify the strengths in the S space. In the W space, we identify the weaknesses in relation to the objective that we want to achieve. And then on the vertical, the first column, we have opportunities, which are O, and the threats, which are T. Now, these O and T are external to your organization. They are out there. For opportunities, you can craft them. They're useful. But for threats, you have to cope with them. You have to be aware of those. For the horizontal, the first row, strengths are internal. They all depend on us, on your organization, and the weaknesses are also internal. So you can see, with this structure, we can now match or marry the strengths and opportunities to generate what we are calling the SWOT strategies. That means we want to use our strengths to take maximum advantage of opportunities, a strategy that enables us to use our strengths, actually to maximize the use of our strength to get maximum advantage of the opportunities. And the WO strategies, we want to overcome the weaknesses by taking advantage of the opportunities. It's like we really want to use the opportunities out there to address our weaknesses. And then ST strategies, we want to use strengths to avoid the threats. and then the W2 strategies, we want to minimize the weaknesses as we avoid the threats. So, by listing the strengths and the weaknesses, opportunities and threats, and not analyzing them, combining them to generate strategies, you would not have done SWOT. Now, in my own opinion, COVID-19 will have, among other impacts, one, increased poverty and hunger. We're already seeing it. I'm already in the field. I'm seeing it, walking around in Goma County, looking at the videos, looking at TVs, listening to news from abroad. Yes, increased poverty and hunger. There's less economic activity. We have seen it already, lockdowns and, curfews and all that. This has already led to economic activity, less economic activities, and it can easily continue. Loss of livelihood and income. Yes, we have had breadwinners who have left, who have departed. Livelihood gone. Unemployment. Yes, already quite a number of small enterprises have closed. Large enterprises have laid off people. So, poverty and food insecurity. For Kenya, one of the pillars of President Uhuru Kenyatta, actually 2 or so of them are at jeopardy. Food insecurity is staring us in the face. Universal health care is staring us in the face, or in our eyes. So I am persuaded that the need arises to do and develop implementable SWOT-generated strategies. And I want to do a partial, I'm saying allow me partially demonstrate this on my own country, Kenya. Yes, I want to do a SWOT analysis in relation to COVID. One of the strengths that we have in Kenya as elsewhere is to have literate populace. People are literate. They can therefore read and write. They can understand the policies, rules, guides. That's a strength. And we have also creative and innovative populace. We've had a number of innovations, even from primary school kids. There's that kid who came up with a washing, a hands-free washing gadget. I personally also trained standard 4, 5, and 6 kids here in Bungoma to make up simple hands-free washing gadgets, so you don't use your hands to get, that basin, that container, you don't touch it. We also made liquid soap so that you don't have to share, bar soaps. So that's a strength we can use. But we have weaknesses. Finances are low. Our planning of the COVID pandemic is not to expectation. And of course, there's corruption. We saw people in court. There are cases against KEMSA. People, entrepreneurship, using their offices to get money that's supposed to go for COVID and misappropriate them. The other day, the DPP told us that there isn't enough evidence, to put those culprits, what we're calling the COVID millionaires. That also means that we have a weak investigative system, maybe even just a corrupt system. Those are weaknesses. Just a few of them, I said, just a demonstration. Opportunities, yes, when there are lockdowns and the social distances, they are making the creative, innovative populace think of solutions. It's an opportunity. Online applications, creative solutions, those are opportunities. We also have, we can have opportunity for regional joint programs. Yes, Kenya, Uganda, look at the drivers that are, long queues on the Kenya-Uganda border. That's an opportunity that can make us come up with programs that can probably go towards addressing this pandemic. But there are also threats, cyber crimes. As you go online apps, online teaching, the threat is that cyber crimes can actually, reduce the efforts that are going towards that direction. For Kenya, I can say there is a growing public concern about prioritizing BBI over COVID-19 pandemic. That's a threat. Yes, there are people talking. Why should BBI be prioritized ahead of COVID? We are talking about money, poor finances. But you look at the budget for BBI, and then we are also told there is no money for the PPEs, even for the nurses, even for the children, and yet we are given a budget of 14 billion to go towards the BBI referendum. This is a threat. So, having now listed our strengths and lifted our opportunities, we can now merge the strength, what we're going now, SO strategies, strength, opportunities, and the obvious one that let's put people first. For example, provide infection protection for the vulnerables. Those face masks and for the vulnerables. Issue regular reassuring public communication. Spend on awareness, spend on communication, spend on motivating people. Those are some of the strategies that can come out. People are literate, they can understand, they can read. Creative, can we come up with some creative protection for the vulnerables? Weaknesses and opportunities. Can we improve resource allocation? Can we rebudget? Can we look at the activities that are not as crucial this time and do the reallocation of resources? Can we communicate with stakeholders, let's say, to review loan terms for small enterprises? These are strategies that we can put in place to counter the strength and the weaknesses that we are facing in matters COVID-19. How about strengths and threats axis? Can we develop and provide stimulus packages? Can we reallocate budget to strengthen the health sector and probably have minimal allocation to BBI? Must it be a referendum at this time? In any case, if those who are supposed to vote in the referendum are affected, are we being human by shutting our eyes to that and saying the referendum must go on, even if there will be only few to vote in the referendum? These are strategies that we can think. Priority setting, weakness and threats. Can we perhaps prioritize agriculture for food security? Can we do, dehydration, preservation? Can we now invest in early maturing crops? Can we ask stakeholders, coordinate them to boost the economy and agriculture. Food. After all, President Uhuru Kenyatta has got a food agenda. So this is an example of how SWOT analysis can help generate strategies that can help us as we manage this COVID pandemic. We need SWOT. Let's go back to weakness, corruption. Can we slay this corruption? Can we have strategies to slay it? So, back to BBI. BBI is good. BBI is for us. But at this time, do we want to go full blast in matters referendum? Can we get the irreducible minimum that we can do minus referendum and reallocate that money to do the direct COVID strategies? Yes, this is my view. We can do a full blast SWOT analysis and generate strategies that can help the situation. We want a win-win situation. BBI, fine. We have very good things in BBI. But COVID is here. So how can we come up with win-win strategies rather than the winner takes it all? Well, if you enjoyed it, please like it, share it, and subscribe. If you feel like supporting us, because we do research to bring out this information, if you feel like supporting us, just visit our website and support us. But I want to we can also do your own SWOT analysis, your personal SWOT analysis, your corporate SWOT analysis. You can do even your family SWOT analysis. All depends on your objective, and any objective. Indeed, even a simple one like you want to travel from Malindi to travel to Nairobi, you might want to plan to do a strategy how you are reading that can also call for SWOT analysis. But companies, particularly now during this COVID pandemic, many small enterprises, small hotels, they have wound up. You might need a SWOT analysis to generate strategies to cope with what we are experiencing.